Hey, JL200, what are you doing? Look, this is the assignment for this week, okay? So this is economic preparation for retirement. If we go back one, look at last week, we were looking at the kind of economic and financial implications as a society, and a big part of what we're looking at here is whether or not people are adequately prepared, especially with unexpected healthcare costs. We should not even call it unexpected healthcare costs, because you realize that as you get older, the likelihood of suffering from some type of chronic disease increases in the percentile of the population, and if you're already there, then it increases in terms of severity, and it just means that there's going to be a significant out-of-pocket expense. You try, we'll do housing later on, you try to stay in place, live in your own house, and have family caregiver support, or use your financial resources, but even then, sometimes then people have to bail and look for assisted living facilities, and again, this is part of this kind of implication. The expenses can be enormous, okay? All right, so we're looking at right here, our first shot over the bow in terms of economic preparation. We asked you to go in here and look at section 3 here, ready or not, and why do we save. These are some other links you can use, but you click right here and it takes you to the PDF file, okay? Alrighty, so and looking at the PDF file, we can scroll down to page 50, I do believe, okay? And there it is, economic preparation for retirement, okay? And so the very first part, just to demystify what's going on here is what is it that you have in terms of your assets, okay, as an individual. They talk a little bit about the three-legged stool, okay? So we have Social Security, and we ask you to address this in the discussion and its adequacy in terms of financing old age. We have different kinds of pensions, okay? So this is going to be your first exposure to, we have a defined pension and defined contribution. The defined pension is slowly leaving society because of the financial burden that it puts upon the corporation or the government entity. If you have a pension, it means you have a guaranteed income for as long as you live, and since people are living longer, this is really causing an economic burden on the people that are providing the pensions. So we're seeing a lot of renegotiating. But negotiations going on with, at the level of government, for example, that everybody gets a pension from there. And then we have what I use is I have a 401k plan. This is where I decide how much I want to contribute. I put it away into a tax deferred account, meaning I will pay taxes on that money when I use it. And then the concept is when I use it, I'll be spending less money when I'm 70 than I do right now. When I'm 63, I'll spend less money when I'm 80 than I do right now when I'm 63, and so my tax bracket will go down. Okay, so you only pay what you spend, and it's not like right now I have to pay taxes on what I earned. Okay, so so I take that money out of my paycheck. Okay, it doesn't get taxed, and I put it into my 401k, and I'll just get taxed later when I spend it. All right, so that's how that looks, and so. So like I said, the big issue that's raised over the first section here is adequacy. Are we as a society? So they kind of have a cross section here, 30,000 people, and they look at their total assets, and these are actually pretty amazingly good, these assets. But again, this is just an average, okay, and there are a lot of people on the lower 10th percentile that are doing far worse, and people in the upper 90th percentile that are doing far better. So when you look at your replacement value, the recommendations are roughly that you should be looking at having enough funds so that So that you could spend about between 70 and 80% of what you're spending right now. So if I were to retire next year, I should have enough funds so that I would be able to cover about the 70 to 8, 86% is the sweet spot. Okay. This study, people were below that there, so the replacement rate was about 67%. Okay. If you go on the previous page, they talk about the replacement rate and what is ideal. Okay. So we see right here that this was a pretty high value, 86%. Okay. What is it going towards? And these are all the expenses. So as an economic major and a financial planner, you can relate these expenses right here to your clients. Okay. All right. So that's the first part of this article, and it kind of breaks it down a little bit in terms of gender. Okay. In terms of how times have changed and things like that. You see that for this cohort, they weren't making a whole lot of money. Okay, so this is their Social Security earnings right there, shown right here. Okay, but they have assets in other directions. So then we kind of scroll through this, and then we start talking here again about this concept of pensions. Okay, a defined benefit pension. So it's a DB. That's a defined benefit. We see that up here, defined benefit. Again, this is what government workers get. Police officer, firemen, city workers, state politicians, federal politicians and workers, on and on and on. You work for the water industry, they have these pension plans. Okay, some small corporations still have pensions, but like I said, they tend to get rid of it. Okay. The other thing is called a defined contribution plan. Sorry for bouncing around. And defined contribution is just your 401k. We then see a little. Hold on a sec here. Make sure I'm at the right spot. Okay, yeah. So we're looking at the expenditures. Okay, then. All right, so then it gets in here, and it does talk a little bit about the defined contribution, okay, and the composition of wealth, okay, and we see that it represented in terms of the three-legged stool right here, and then it breaks it down a little bit on gender and through here, okay, and we see gender difference right here. It's far better to be a male in our society, and it's far better to be married. That's the bottom line on that, okay. Okay, so then as we go through this, okay, we talk about gender difference retirement preparation, and women are not faring as well as men, and especially we look over here, single women have it the worst off. Okay, and what happens when the husband dies? Okay, far worse off. Okay, so this gets in again to this is what I was looking for earlier, the pension landscape. Okay, so to talk about defined benefit, defined contribution. USC has a defined contribution, and sometimes they have matching funds, and they talk about that right there. USC's defined contribution, I put in 5% of my 9-month guaranteed salary, and then USC matches it 2-to-1, which is pretty awesome. So, so it's a good way to set aside money for the later years. All right, so then they get into the issue that I was talking about, medical costs right here, and these are a major drain on your financial well-being, and so this is what this part of the chapter is all about. And it goes into a lot of depth about unexpected healthcare costs, and then it finishes up with financial literacy and things like that. Okay, and how to do retirement. Are you participating in any type of plan? So this is the percentage of population doing the defined benefit, like a government worker. The percentage of the population doing a defined contribution, like a 401k. Okay, so we see that it's actually kind of fairly low, kind of surprisingly low. This breaks things down in terms of income. Okay, and we say right here total income of single and coupled households. Okay, so we see as you go this on the age scale from 50 to 89 right here. And we look at single, which is the dark blue, and army green here are couples. And you see it's obviously you fare much better in terms of income that you're earning when you're married. And then this is the total wealth. We're not only looking at income, but looking at things like equity in your homes and where your 401k is at, things like that. And we see again, being married is a far better scenario. Okay. The fact that there's nothing here just means they didn't sample in that age group. Okay. Again, being married, far better sample right here. Okay. So you see, you have more income, you have more equity, more assets available to you. And you see here that when you look at married people, relative, your spending is not so bad. That's what this shows here. This is your spending. Okay. All righty. All right, so that's it right there. Okay, so it's just a quick overview on that stuff. You come down here again to the Social Security phenomena, and so it's a really, really great section to familiarize with yourself with Social Security. Just remember your Social Security benefit. So if you decide to retire early years at 62, which I could right now, I could. But my maximum benefit that I would achieve at 66.67 years of age, my benefit, if I retire now, then I would have my benefit for the rest of my life at 70%, okay, of what that maximum benefit, which is, it's not so great, okay. And then if you delay your retirement to after 70 years of age, then you kick it up to 120%. So there's an incentive to delay this, okay. So we just want you to get in here and take a look at this, and we're going to look at the things like out-of-pocket expenses and like we were talking about. Okay, so just kind of run through this, and it goes. It's a really, really, really neat article, real simple for your economy majors and business majors. Okay, and a quick review of Social Security, and then you get in there and you talk about this right here. Okay, all right, guys. So. Pretty quick overview. We're getting to the end of the semester, which is kind of awesome. If we go back and look here at the assignments, we'll see that that right after this, we're going to do a nice review of some of the retirement planning options that you should be considering. Okay, and then we'll do 2 more weeks, and boom, you guys are done. So it's awesome. All right, guys. Until we see you next time, you take care.